This is Sonnet 5. So the 5 stages are, we read the rhyming couplet, which is the last 2 lines. We read the last word of each line to give us a flavour of what it's about. We break it into 4 sections, which is 3 groups of 4 lines plus the rhyming couplet. Then we mark the breaths, starting with the sentence endings. Then the Césures, which is the natural break within a line, as each line is made of 2 phrases, usually. Okay, so the rhyming couplet. But flowers distilled, though they with winter meet, lease but their show, their substance still lives sweet. Okay, flowers distilled, though they winter meet, lease but their show, their substance still lives sweet. So it sounds like though flowers change what they are, though they get destroyed in a way by the winter, their essence still carries on. So it's probably a sonnet to do with age or dying, that though you perish, what's essential about you lives on. Might be another sonnet about having kids. Last words. Frame, dwell, same, excel. Which last words stand out? Well, it's hard to say. Frame, the shape of something. Dwell, where you live. Excel, something, some achievement. On, there, gone, everywhere. Now all those words are pretty plain, regular words. None particularly stand out. Gone, maybe, something's disappearing. Left, glass, bereft, was. Glass, maybe reflections, mirrors. Again, often an image used to do with having kids or falling in love, you know, that which reflects you. Bereft, you've lost something. And then meet, sweet. So ends with something pleasant. Okay, let's break it into the 4 sections. So we'll put a space or draw a line under that unfair which fairly doth excel, line 4, then line 8, which ends with gone, line 12, which ends with was, and then we've got the rhyming couplet. Okay, let's mark in the breaths. So we'll start with the sentence endings. Well, actually, we'll start with a breath at the start and a breath at the end, because you'll always breathe before you begin speaking, and you'll always continue to breathe after you've finished speaking. So, sentence endings. End of the first 4 lines, the first quatrain. In this version of the sonnet, we've got a semicolon, so no breath there. End of the second 4, we've got a full stop after everywhere, so that's the end of the first sentence. Then at the end of the 3rd quatrain, end of line 12, we've got a full stop at was. We've got an 8-line sentence, a 4-line sentence and a 2-line sentence. But obviously we need to breathe a bit more than every 8th line. Now a regular sonnet will have us breathing every other line. But let's look out for some major punctuation. So the sentence can only end in 3 ways. Full stop, exclamation mark, question mark. But the next highest punctuation after that, which shows a different thought, or a sub-thought, is the colon and the semicolon. Do we have any of those? Well, we've got the semicolon at the end of line 4. Mark a breath in there. Then after that, we have the comma. Now sometimes you get the hyphen, but we don't seem to have any here, just the commas. Okay, we can assume the breath in the first quatrain is at the end of the 2nd line, but there's no punctuation there, so let's test the sense of it. Those hours that with gentle work did frame the lovely gaze where every eye doth dwell will play the tyrants to the very same, and that unfair which fairly doth excel. Okay, that's all in one breath. Let's try a breath after dwell. Those hours that with gentle work did frame the lovely gaze where every eye doth dwell will play the tyrants to the very same, and that unfair which fairly doth excel. Okay, it feels like there should be the breath after the line 2. Line 6, we've got a comma. We've got a comma at line 7. Let's see where the breath is. For never resting time leads summer on to hideous winter and confounds him there. Sap checked with frost and lusty leaves quite gone. beauty o'ersnowed with bareness everywhere. We could do that. We could go to the third line of the second quatrain, but let's try it there. Third quatrain. Then were not summer's distillation left a liquid prisoner, pent in walls of glass. Beauty's effect with beauty were bereft, nor no remembrance what it was. Okay, so we've got the comrade glass, so we can mark it in there, but we've got a comrade bereft. So maybe we've got options. But it's a difficult verse. Let's have a go. Then were not summer's distillation left a liquid prisoner pent in walls of glass. Beauty's effect with beauty were bereft, nor no remembrance what it was. Okay, we can try the glass thing, see how it works. Okay, and then let's just read the rhyming couplet. But flowers distilled, though they with winter meet, least but their show, their substance still lives sweet. Now you've got a semicolon after show, halfway through the final line. So maybe we could take a breath there. But flowers distilled, though they with their winter meet, least but their show, their substance still lives sweet. But you know, when you breathe, you break up the thought. So the goal is to breathe, in a way, as little as possible, but in the right places which delineate thought, because the breath is an inspiration, a thought. So breath, thought, action, inspiration are all the same thing. As long as you're speaking off the breath, you'll make sense, even if you barely know what you're talking about. Let's do the Césures. So the Césures is the break between the line. To be or not to be, that is the question. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? These are single lines made of two phrases. The first line, those hours that with gentle work did frame, those hours that with gentle work did frame, it seems like it's an early Césure. The lovely gaze where every eye doth dwell, it sounds like the lovely gaze, 4 syllables, so early again, will play the tyrants to the very same. Okay, we'll play the tyrants, so this is exactly even, i.e. the Césure is exactly after the 5 syllables. Remember, each line is 10 syllables, which is 5 I ams, and I am being a 2-beat note. Da-da, 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 da-da. Okay, so it's exactly even. And that unfair, which fairly doth excel. And that unfair, so after 4 beats, which fairly doth excel. So the big mistake with Césures is, one, to not even consider them, and then just almost take your natural breaks whenever it just suits you, whenever you feel like it. But it's not about your feelings. Your feelings are fairly irrelevant when it comes to drama. What you need to present is the logic of the scene. Get that right, and then you'll generate feelings in the body, the mind of your audience, which is the point of drama. Let's just cut to the last, the rhyming couplet. But flowers distilled, though they with winter meet. Now we've got a comma on the Césure, which is often the case. But flowers distilled, Césure, though they with winter meet. Least but their show, semicolon, their substance still lives sweet. So we've got punctuation on the Césures, punctuation mid-line. Now on a page, I like to mark the Césure with a little V, but if I'm typing out something, so on this site, I'll mark it with an asterisk. Let's have a read and let's work out what the hell he's talking about. Those hours that with gentle work did frame the lovely gaze where every eye doth dwell, will play the tyrants to the very same, and that unfair which fairly doth excel. So the first stanza, the first quatrain, looks like it's talking about, though time created beauty, time will also destroy that beauty. Those hours that with gentle work did frame the lovely gaze where every eye doth dwell. will play the tyrants to the very same, and that unfair which fairly doth excel. So quatrain 2, we've got, for never-resting time leads summer on to hideous winter and confounds him there. So time takes your summer into the winter. You're being led towards death. Sap checked with frost and lusty leaves quite gone. Beauty o'ersnowed and bareness everywhere. So all your sap, your juices, your life force will get frozen, and beauty o'ersnowed and bareness everywhere, and you will become desolate and barren. Quatrain 3. Then were not summer's distillation left a liquid prisoner pent in walls of glass. So it sounds like summer's distillations, like the liquids of summer, becomes this liquid prisoner pent in walls of glass. Walls of glass, I think, being ice. So what was flowing in the summer becomes this glass prison, this ice prison. Beauty's effect with beauty were bereft, nor no remembrance what it was. So you lose your beauty and everyone forgets about you. And we forget, people forget. Like you look at some really old person, it's hard to imagine their youth. So beauty is forgotten. But flowers distilled, though they with winter meet, least but their show, their substance still lives sweet. But flowers distilled, so your youth, concentrated down, though they with winter meet, though they with age meet, least but their show. Reveal, age just changes your appearance, but your substance is as beautiful as ever. But flowers distilled, though they with winter meet, least but their show, their substance still lives sweet. So age only destroys your Oops, just knocked it over there. So age only destroys your outward self, but your inner beauty remains beautiful. Let's just do the whole thing. Those hours that with gentle work did frame the lovely gaze where every eye doth dwell, will play the tyrants to the very same, and that unfair which fairly doth excel. For never-resting time leads summer on to hideous winter and confounds him there. Sap checked with frost and lusty leaves quite gone, beauty o'ersnowed and bareness everywhere. Then were not summer's distillation left a liquid prisoner in pent walls of glass. Beauty's effect with beauty were bereft, nor no remembrance what it was. But flowers distilled, though they with winter meet, least but their show, their substance still lives sweet. So you're going to get old and you're going to look pretty awful, but what is fantastic about you shall remain. That's it. Winter, death, time, all that. All things must pass.